Greater Than 0% is a 501c3 nonprofit that's on a mission to share stories of organizations from around the world that are changing lives. We have weekly episodes featuring amazing nonprofits and monthly episodes interviewing top business executives. You can find us at gtzp.org on your preferred streaming or social media platforms.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning into this episode of Greater Than 0%. Today we have Alex Shunk, who's the Executive Director, and Moses, both at David Sten. So Alex, Moses, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. So per usual, we always start by hearing what the mission is of the organizations we're interviewing. So Alex and Moses, feel free to chime in on what is the mission of David Sten?
Well, what we try to do is we create a safe place where musicians and creatives that struggle with suicide, depression, anxiety have a safe place to come. They can reach out for help, whether if it's just hanging out or maybe they need to see some counseling or we work on different projects. But just a place that everybody can come and unite and feel safe and get some guidance.
All right. Now, I want to get into the details on all of that, but before we do, Alex, why you? We can start with you, Alex, and then move on to Moses of why David Sten is an organization that you want to be a part of.
Well, with that, I my family has a background that struggles with mental illness, including myself, and my brother, who this organization is named after, David. He committed suicide. And I had some other relatives. I had a cousin that's also committed suicide, and again, I struggled. So that's I wanted to honor David some way. You know, when that very first happened back in '96, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was still struggling myself, but as I started growing and maturing and getting through going down my path. I stumbled on a place called Nucci Space, which is out of Athens, Georgia, and I really connected with that. I had a hard time, they putting me in, whether it was going to see different counselors or different doctors or different things. I never really felt that I could relate to any place. So once I ran into Nucci Space, they really focused on musicians and music, and that's kind of where I found my piece was in the music. So with that, I moved to. I wasn't, I bounced around quite a bit, but I landed in Nashville, and once I got my feet under the ground, that's kind of where I knew. As I started looking around, and there was no Nucci Space. There's nothing like that here in Nashville. And I said, well, hey, we got to, I reached out to Nucci Space and asked what about opening something up here. And Bob, who's a friend of mine who runs the place down in Nucci, he's like, why don't you set it up yourself? He goes, why don't you create your own? He said, we can, make it like you can use the format, but let's make it unique to yourself. And that way, and so that's where it launched. And that was kind of the idea behind it. And so that's why we do it. I don't want to see, my biggest thing is that, I don't want to see anybody else struggle. My family, I've seen what suicide has done, to my mother and to my siblings. So I just want to make sure no other family has to go through that, and help people along the way. That's kind of what we do and why we do it.
Yeah. Alex, thank you so much for sharing that. We spoke before this, but again, really sorry for your loss and that you and your family had to go through that. So Moses, why you? Why David Sten for you?
Well, I moved to Nashville initially to be a singer-songwriter band, that whole thing. And throughout my time in Nashville, I was also a public school teacher. And then I became a yoga instructor, meditation instructor, and just made connections in the music world and the education world in Nashville. And just through mutual friends, one of our mutual friends said, hey, I really think you would be a great fit in helping an organization. and whatever it may need, spreading things, spreading words, spreading the ideas, helping out the community, just networking. And Nashville, big, small town, or small, big town, that everyone knows one way or another, and there's always connections to be made. And that's all it was, just a means of connections to connecting mental health to yoga, to the musician. I mean, I have a lot of friends clearly struggling with substance abuse, mental health issues on the road or at home in Nashville, and it's something that's affected my life as well. So it just felt like it was just a very easy fit. It just grew and progressed just in the last months. So I mean, that's really it.
Yeah. So I have two follow-up questions for each of you, and Alex, we could probably start with you, but why do you think music has helped you cope with or go through or mourn through whatever the process was for you? Why do you think music had that impact? And Moses, I'll ask you the same question about yoga. But Alex, I'd love to hear your experience.
Well, I mean, we could go real deep into it. I think music is something that is primal, and it's taps into something way that probably I could never really understand. But what it takes me to a place to where I can find peace. It's kind of hard for me to explain, but when I'm going through something bad, regardless of what it is, I can put something on. And it can kind of balance me a little bit. If I need a little pepped up, I can put something in that. I throw some speed in there. If I need something more relaxed, I put something a little bit of slow. But I really can't give you a solid answer on that, other than that. It's there's just something deep in there. It's smoothing. It's calming. It's taken me to places, whether if it's, listen to a lyric that somebody wrote that just has that click in me, or there's that guitar riff or whatever that it is. I mean, there's been times that I've sat, this is years ago, but, where I would be struggling and thinking that I was going to do the end, but I was going to listen to this song one more time. And that one more time became another. And then the longer that span came for me thinking those thoughts into that song, and maybe 15, 20 minutes have passed of me listening to that song once or twice. And then now maybe, I haven't, I've got to that, I've passed that point of, whatever that end is going to be.
Yeah. I feel like it at least from my experience too, music could be a thing where you could either get inside your own head or get outside of your own head, depending on what the music is, right? Depending on what you feel you need in the moment. Absolutely. Music has had a profound impact on me too. Moses, yoga. Why is yoga such a powerful tool to use in this healing process too? Your experience.
Well, I'd like to jump on what your question was for Alex.
Oh yeah.
My folks. Music is the face of God. And it doesn't matter what music you're listening to, I don't think it matters what God you believe in, whether God love or tradition. Music is that thing that can't be ineffable connection to your soul. And I think you add yoga there. Yoga is the unity of body, mind, soul. It's not just a physical practice, it's the mental practice. It's just the breathing, calming down. In my yoga classes in Nashville, we actually have a monthly yoga class with David Sten called Rock and Roll Yoga, and we try to support and spread the word. The yoga class is built for more of the rocker side of Nashville. I put together a rock and roll playlist. But for every one of my classes, I have some sort of music in the background, some beat going, something like Alex said, tribal, something that's happened to the heartbeat, soul chakra, the earth. It's all connected. So yoga is just a natural way, I think, and exercise in music, and exercise in love, and exercise into expanding your mental, and bring everything to that core center line. I think they all. So, I started yoga just because I heard that, and I thought, I just need to fix my back. And there's so much in the world of yoga that goes beyond the physical, that it just makes sense that we should connect with music, connect with the David's charity. Again, it's all connection, all love, all bringing things together.
Wow. All right. So let's get into David's Den then, and maybe start with some of the history. So Alex, you shared the founding. What were some of the main programming and activities that you did with Davidson when we initially founded it in Nashville?
Well, the first thing I wanted to do is have a place where we could hang out. At the very, at the very beginning, a friend of mine had a furniture store. It was called 5 String Furniture. So we would go over there. We would hang out, make it. We'd make furniture, player guitars, and then we weren't selling a lot of furniture, but we had more and more of our friends coming over and playing guitars and just hanging out. So, but we did have a lot of equipment that we had. So we decided, what we could do here. We got this David's Den thing. Let's use this as kind of a community. So we started doing where people could come in and we could start making. Our first thing was cutting boards. So we could have guys come in, make them some cutting boards, and we could work like that. And that little store that we had has grown in now to what is now just a massive kablob. Now it's a 30,000 square foot of massive woodworking. We've got metalworking. We've got a computer area. We've got a horticulture. We've got a screen printing. Any place where you can get so guys and gals that can come in there. That's our safe place where they can come in and they can work on different projects. That's the home base. We also work with a music studio called Round Room. And they let us come in, use the studio so we can bring guys in, let them record, hang out. We do jams out there. And then we also work with local hospitals and different councils around town. We work with Centerstone. So if somebody needs, some counseling, we help them get counseling. We work with Chelsea Albert, who does holistic healing. So we have different types of, you can go conventional. We can go Rolling Hills, which is a more holistic type of counseling. We do hypnotherapist counseling. So we've got different avenues that people can get help if they want to. Maybe somebody, we also help with insurance. So a lot of these guys and gals, they don't have insurance and they haven't seen a dentist, or maybe they haven't got a checkup. So we work with Music City Health Advisors to where we can get them to get insurance. And if they can't afford the insurance, what David's Den does is help subsidize that cost for them so they can have insurance to get them the what if it's a set of glasses, or, get their teeth fixed, or, whatever that it is to help them get down the road. So we provide a lot of different little services, but our main thing is really to have a network to let people know that they're safe. They come in and just be healthy and know that it's going to be okay.
Yeah. That is some of the most different types of activities in one space that I've ever heard. So what do you think allowed you or even influenced the ability to be so flexible with what you're providing in this 30,000 square foot space? Was it just a demand from the people walking in, or was it something else? I'd love to hear how you stayed flexible.
It's all the stuff that I can relate to.
Yeah.
I mean, this is whether it's mine or maybe somebody that's worked close with me that is part of this. My partner that really helped me. His name is Jeff Estes. He's a big part of that. So we just try to put stuff together that has helped us, that we can relate to. That's what helped me. If it was something that was way out in left field for me, that I couldn't relate, I couldn't help you, and that's the same thing. So that's kind of how we've got it set up. I mean, my background when I went to school, I started off in carpentry school. That's what I was going to do. I always loved the woodwork. It's been my thing. But then I found out that I found out that later I also liked to weld. So I started getting into fabrication, and so with those are before I started getting before I really got into the drinking and all that that was my love. But then once I came out the other end and quit drinking and all the things that I used to do, my love started coming back. Those were some of the passions, and I'm passionate about it. And it's that's what it's, that's what it shows. If I'm not passionate about it, it's not going to work. So that's kind of why we have all that stuff together. And it also works well because it also helps fund, different things. For example, if somebody's not involved in David's Den, but they still want to be able to come in and be a part of it, then there's a fee that they can come in and they can use the equipment and all that type of stuff too. So.
Yeah. Wow. I'd love to hear some examples or stories if you have them to share of people that have come through your program and come through David's Den and the impact that it's had. And Moses, maybe we could start with you if you want, or Alex, either way, on examples you have of people that have kind of come through the programming and how it's impacted their lives and how they've felt about David's Den in general.
Well, I have one particular that it's amazing because I remember when we very first started, I was like, boy, if we could just help one person, and then it's just, it's just, but to answer your question, one that sticks out is probably, is a really good success story. That is, we have our jams, and we have those. We put those on once a month. Everybody can come out. We put some food and drink, and everybody just hangs out. We get some jam, and so we had a gentleman that came in. He just seen it off of one of our flyers off the internet, whatever that it was, social media. He came in, started jamming. We got to befriended him, good friend. And he started opening up, and he had struggles. And so we introduced him to one of our counselors, and they started doing set up some therapy classes. And then his daughter actually was really struggling.
Oh, I want to hear the rest of that story, but we lost him. Oh, wait, he's joining back. Here we go. There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened, but was really struggling. But his daughter was also struggling. She was getting bullied in school, and it wasn't really, it was just a bad situation. And he brought her out to a couple jams, but kind of speed this up. It was late at night. He called me, said, Alex, she's in the ambulance. I think she's dead. She's tried to kill. She killed herself. And so we went out. We went to Vanderbilt. They took her to the Vanderbilt. She did make it. And they kept her there for a few days, and then they moved her over to Rolling Hills. She spent about 30, I think it was a 30-day program out there, and now she has moved on to a different school, and she's blossomed. She's in a music school now, playing music. Dad's doing a lot better. Mom's doing a lot better, so that was that one was a good one, because not only did we help Pops, bring him in, because he wanted to help jam, wanted to come out, then we also was able to help the daughter, which was great. So that one is a big one. We've helped out just numerous people that maybe they lost a loved one or they're struggling, and we're able to whether if it's coming in and working making a whatever they want to make. Usually it's some cutting board, something easy that we can get them started with, or coming out to the jam, or getting them introduced to one of our counselors. But we at this point now it runs, unfortunately we'll probably have two or three people a week reaching out. Hey, what can we do? Our friend needs some help. So that's some of the success stories. And as you see, this is why I do have a tendency to ramble a little bit and kind of go off. I'm not a professional, and I think this is what kind of works too. Is I don't claim to be. I do know that when people sit with talk with me, because people will call. We'll go out. I'll go out on what's called a call. Maybe we meet them at a coffee shop or somewhere safe, somewhere a neutral place where we can talk to. And obviously, if they're screaming, they're going to kill themselves, they need to call 911. But let's say somewhere we need to meet where we can talk. The two things that people get at talking with me is, one, one that they know I'm not blabbing my mouth. I'm not going to go out and say, oh my God, this guy needs to get locked up, because those are some of the biggest fears that people have when they reach out, is that, gosh, if I sit and tell this person what I really feel, they're not going to let me out of here. You know, and the other biggest one is, you know, how can this person relate to me? You know, well, they know that I'm not going to tell anybody. As soon as they sit down 5-10 minutes in a conversation, they get what I'm at, and they know too that I've looked down a barrel of a gun. So they understand that, you know, it's easy. They understand where I'm coming from, and that, I think that is what has been our success, is that we can relate. We don't, like I said, we can get you the professional help, but we are not professionals when it comes to that. You know, I've been in front of doctors. I can sit, I can talk, I can relate. We can do those things. I can offer advice, and I can, you know, the biggest thing is really listening. That's where our success comes from, is, you know, people like Moses, you know, that is just down to earth, that can relate, you know, and as a musician that will tell it like it is, and is also a kind and caring person. You know, these are the kind of people that we attract, and it's great. You know, I can go through a whole list of people that help us and do that.
No,
See, I
this
ramble,
is great.
but that's
the whole idea.
That's what
This is your stage. We want to share your story.
That's really what we do. You know, we have all, like you said, you know, yeah. And I know we have, you know, this is the thing, is that, you know, we talk about our building and all this different things. Those are, to me, those are fancy bells, is all that stuff is. I mean, they're cool and neat, but all that is to get you in there, to get you where we're really, to get you the help. You know, that's the main thing. And whatever that it is going to attract you to get you to us, whether if it's playing the guitar, doing something, whatever that it is, you know, I want to make, you know, we want you in there. We want you to be able to talk to you and let you know that, you know, we're here, and you got a safe place to go.
People experiencing similar things that you're experiencing that you can talk to.
Exactly. Because if you don't like me, you know, you say, man, that guy's too much, which sometimes happens. You know, there's other people there that you can relate to. You know, that you know, it just doesn't have to be me. You know, we've got a whole list of people that are great volunteers and that working with us, that are from all age, different groups and different you know, different upbringings. You know, the great thing is you could go in there and there might be somebody working that has a, you know, 5 different types of degrees, and he could be working with somebody that doesn't have a high school diploma, but they're working on one project, and all that stuff goes away. You know, one person could, you know, it works on different, you know, on whatever scenario you want to give it, but it's really about just getting together, building that relationship.
Absolutely. So Moses, so your experience, do you have any stories you want to share, or even learnings you've had throughout the process of working with David Sten so far?
Well, I was just blown away by local musicians that wanted to help us. I came in November, December. They just asked, hey, you know, would you come in, just help, you know, sell merch, help with the concert we had in December, the sleigh ride. And yeah, you know, you get a free ticket to the show. Like, oh yeah, for sure, that's the reason. And we had people like Chris Myers from Humphreys McGee show up, and he was a big part of it. Marcus King played. Some people from Dave Matthews Band, Trey Anastasio Band. That was a big show, and we just had a lot of Nashville artists just drop what they're doing to help us, because they all are connected to this in some way. I'm sure every single person involved, either whether it was themselves or someone they've played with in the past, has had struggles with mental health. And in the music world. So we put on that show, and I was just surprised at how many big names showed up to lend their time, lend their music, lend their talent. And then since then, we've had other shows. Like we had like a tribute to Rage Against the Machine, which was awesome. And we had a bunch of the local talent of Nashville just show up and crush it for this show. I was impressed how many people just stepped up without thinking and just wanted to be a part of this community. So in the small time that I've been a part of it, I've been blown away with the help we get, the people that are connected, people that are interested coming into the concerts, the jams, the barbecues, the yoga classes we do. It just seems like a positive thing that everyone can get behind without much effort, without much thought. And that's probably been the coolest thing that I've seen since helping out Alex in trying to expand.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of music, and I've gone to more concerts in the past few months that I've had in the past few years. But I remember the concerts I went to years ago, and comparing them to the concerts now, the bands that we saw were like Godsmack and Disturbed and whatnot, and Avenged Sevenfold. But like every single band that I've seen in the past couple months has had some sort of um, conversation aside in between songs about mental health awareness and about mental health.
Yeah.
And some of the bands even started foundations to support people that have been impacted by mental health in that specific industry. So it's a conversation that is like front and center in the music industry for sure. And it's awesome to see that change because these artists have such big stages and they could have such big impact on people that are listening. It's huge. It's awesome to see.
It's great because, years ago, that was something you don't talk about, something you keep hidden, something that, created more problems because it was in the shadows. And now, because it has affected so many people, um, to be able to have, like you said, that stage already where you have these influencers in music and entertainment and art and whatever the creative route is, speaking about it now, letting people in the audience know they're not alone. Because as you started off this podcast with, uh, why does music have such a connection to it? It just does. There's really no answer to it. And music saves lives. That's an absolute fact. And whether it's going back to the Beatles, to Led Zeppelin, or things today like Avenged Sevenfold or whatever you just mentioned, like everyone can find some sort of connection into that. And then if you can hear those people who are making that art for you also tell you that, hey, you're not alone. Hey, that I've had this experience. I know someone with this experience. Hey, get help. Don't be ashamed to get help. Look for your outlet. That is so important. That's something that we didn't have, decade ago, maybe, whenever it might have been. You didn't hear about that. Like, again, it was just keep it under the rug. Don't talk about it. Don't share about it. Now it's out on the stage, out in the forefront, where everyone can know that you're not alone. Get help. Please contact someone, contact a friend, contact a stranger. Come down to David's Den in Nashville and come make some wood projects, please. Come take a yoga class with me. Come to our barbecue. Come to one of our soul jams. You're not alone. There's a community for that, and we are here to help. And that's the main message I think we want to get across in whichever avenue we're going through, concert wise, food wise, yoga wise, whatever it might be. There is a place to gain friendship, to gain guidance, to gain anything you might be looking for in the positive realm. You're not alone, so please come find us.
Wow. So, Alex, what are the future plans for David's Den? What's coming up? What do you want to share? What do you want to give call outs for? And how could people get engaged? Moses, you just highlighted a few ways that people could just get involved and show up. But I'd love to hear additional ways or any other ways maybe that Moses didn't share, Alex, on how people can get engaged.
Yeah, wow. I mean, he really rattled it off. I mean, that was perfect. As far as, he mentioned, we do several different things. We have our soul jams that we have once a month. We have those usually the last Thursday of the month. And we put those out on social media, the times and the dates. So anybody can, if they follow us at davidsden_Nash, or go to our website, davidsden.org, you'll find all our stuff there. But yeah, we do our soul jams. We also we do Tuesday night barbecues. It's at a place called Dee's Country Lounge. We have some of our bands come out, and bands that work with David's Den. They come out and they play, and then we bring our smoker and we barbecue Texas barbecue. So we do that on Tuesdays to raise awareness and funds. And then also we're doing this. We do an annual event. It's with the sleigh ride with Chris Myers. We're doing that. That is 12/8. That is December 8th. And that's I can't. We're working on the headliners and working on some stuff now because we're still out. But that's another big show that we have at the Brooklyn Bowl. That's kind of like our big. That's our granddaddy of the year, and that's a really fun one. We're working on a golf tournament next year, next spring or summer with Maggie Rose, and of course, we've got Small World Yoga with our man Moses, and we do that once a month at the Small World Yoga Studio, which is great. And I find yoga is. It not only, I mean, when I go, it does. I mean, I really, there was and I'm going to say this, there was a stereotype with me about yoga and all that kind of stuff. And man, let me tell you, I've done the gym works out and done all that stuff. It is the most physical thing I think I've done, but also the, mental. It is, when I walk out of there, no matter how stressed or what I feel great. I do. I feel relieved, and I'm glad it's incorporated. I really want this to grow for us. But those are some of the stuff that we do. And if you want to get involved, you can always reach out. We have an email address, reachout@davidsden.org. Whether if you're struggling, you can obviously, call 911 if you're going to hurt yourself or you're feeling like that. But if you need somebody to talk to or get set up, you can do reachout@davidsden.org, or you can go to davidsden, davidsden_Nash, or you can go to davidsden.org. You can find all our information.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you for all of that. Is there anything that, Moses, you and Alex want to leave us with before we wrap up? Because it looks like we're at time, but I think we've covered a lot, so this is great.
Just like we'd said earlier, we're just trying to spread the word to let people know they're not alone, that there is a community of creatives, artists, musicians, people that are here to help, people that want to help, people that are here to be your friend, give you guidance, whatever you might need, however serious or not so serious. If you're just interested, please come find us. Nashville, we're right outside of downtown Nashville, very easy to find. We have a lot of connections in the music industry, in the artist industry. The network in Nashville is very strong and very supportive here. So it's just a great organization to be a part of. I'm very thankful that Alex brought me in. And it's just been keeping me connected into this, because I feel it's absolutely a wonderful service, and it gives me more purpose to know that we're helping out people that are in need of help in the community that I've been a part of for so long. So I'd like to thank Alex for doing that and allowing me to be part of his world there. So it's pretty simple.
All right, Alex, how about you? Anything you want to leave us with before we wrap up?
Well, I just obviously want to thank you for inviting us on here. That's a big shout out to that. So thank you so much, Joseph. Also, want to thank Moses. I want to thank Small World Yoga. I want to make sure that Chelsea Albert from Chelsea Albert Healing gets credit. Music City Advisors, Lauren Sublett, and of course Pierce Harrison with Backstage Barbecue, and Bonnaroo Works. I could just go down there. There's a list of so many people that sponsor us, that help us. That I know that I'm leaving out, but they're thanks to everybody that does participate and to help us keep this train rolling here.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and we're honored to share the work that you all are doing at David's Den and the impact that you're having. So, people that are listening, especially in the Nashville area, if anything you heard is inspirational, reach out, get engaged, and see how you can support. So thanks again, everyone, and Moses and Alex for joining.
Sure. Can I get just one last plug in on a couple of things he touched on? He just reminded me.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Please, David's Den _Nash on Instagram. Small World Yoga on Instagram. That's the Nashville studio I work out of. That's Nashville's only nonprofit yoga studio. So all classes are donation based, and the donations just help the studio spread yoga into the community where it might not be otherwise. For example, I teach at yoga at an elementary school and in high school for an outreach program. We take it to prisons or shelters or recovery centers. So we're the only yoga studio in Nashville that does that. I'm Moses James Yoga on Instagram, and as well, like Alex said earlier, Bonnaroo Works. Kelsey DeWald helps us out with that, so that connects this mental health charity with Bonnaroo in the last couple years, and we're going to spread that more every year at Bonnaroo, creating a stage for performers, and that's probably our biggest stage of all, is hitting up that Bonnaroo crowd. So again, David's Den Nash Instagram, Small World Yoga on Instagram, Moses James Yoga on Instagram, and Bonnaroo Works Fund on Instagram. Please follow us, find us, contact us. We'd love it to hear from you. Appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you both again for your time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Greater Than 0%. To find more episodes or to have your organization featured on the podcast, you can find us at gtzp.org on your preferred streaming or social media platforms. Find your cause with greater than 0%.